What's up, everybody? It's AJ with etrailer.com. Today we're going to be checking out the RockyMounts MonoRail. It's going to be a 2-bike platform bike rack for 1.25" hitches. Let's check it out. Right away, I want to point out that I did say that it's for 1.25" hitches, but they got to be class 2 1.25" hitches. And what the difference is class 1 have a lower tongue rating, so you're not going to be able to use it for 2 bikes on that one. You need to make sure that you have a class 2 1.25" hitch for this to work. Now, I really like the monorail design. There is another one that fits 2" by 2" hitches, and that's been on my car for about 4 seasons now. Borrowed it from work, gets my mountain bike to the trail so I can go ride it around out there. I really like how easy it is to load up a bike and use the bike rack, but it's not just an entry-level bike rack, and it has extra features on there, but not too many to where, you know, some of the ones that are higher level, they have features that I'm just never going to use or I don't care about. This one's in that middle sweet spot for me, so I really like, again, how easy it is to use. Load with bikes is the most important for me, but let me show you other things and why I like it. Now we're going to hit the bumps on our test course here. So we're going to look for the side-to-side movement on the bike rack. And these bumps are just like your normal speed bumps, so it's a little aggressive, but hitting a bunch of them in a row, just want to see how that bike rack handles it, because we're going to test it in the extreme situations to make sure that hook's going to hold on to that tire. Looks like it's doing just fine. There's bouncing back and forth just a little bit, but that's normal with most of the bike racks, so it's nothing to worry about. Taking a closer look at it is a platform style bike rack, and what I mean by that is the bikes are going to sit on the platform here, and then you have this hook that's going to come down and attach or touch the tire, and that's what's holding it into place. So there's not going to be any frame contact, so you can use these carbon frame road bikes and not have any issues with it. And you don't have to worry about different frames. Like you can see, this one's a little bit of aggressive alternative frame. Usually on the lower end platform style bike racks, you're gonna have a center mast here that's kind of in the way, and then hooks that come down and make frame contact. This one's far better because it's on the wheel, so it really opens up possibilities for kids' bikes, women's bikes, alternative frames, all those, and you don't have to worry about any of the frames being damaged because it's gonna just touch this tire and hold on there nice and tight. Taking a look at the back tire here, this is where it has the strap that actually pulls down, it ratchets into place and holds that tire nice and tight in the groove there on our cradle. So that's another thing that's gonna keep the bike from moving a whole bunch. You can see I can shake it just a little bit, but it's not going anywhere, it's gonna stay in place. And with the wheel hook and the back strap there, this bike rack does something that a lot of them don't, is you can actually tilt it away with both bikes loaded. So you come down here to this handle, which, let me point out, it's also blue, so anything that you use to adjust on here is going to be blue. So it's really easy to look and see what you can use or manipulate on the bike rack because it's highlighted with blue. So you just pull that handle out, tilt it back, and then go ahead and pop your trunk. So it's going to be really easy to get back in there. I know I struggle with it on mine. My back hatch on my SUV, I always leave the bike helmet in there or the cooler in there, so then I have to get back into the back of the vehicle, and if I had to unload both bikes and the bike rack to get back there, that'd be such a pain. So this way, it's not a problem, it's out of the way. I can close this, get in and out, reload, or take something out of there without having to go through all the process of removing the bikes and the bike rack. The handle and the tilting away from the vehicle might not seem like such a big deal, but the first time you forget something in the back of your vehicle, you're gonna want it to easily move it down. Now, another thing is this handle being here at the end is super helpful. I've worked with a lot of different platform style bike racks. Some of them, like one of the Kuats, has the pedal back here, and that's kind of a pain to reach back there and hit that with your foot to lower it down. It is, you know, it's not super awful, but you know, sometimes when they got the 4 bikes, it's hard to reach that. I just like this being right here, far easier. It's just easier to grab that and then put your hand on the hook just to lower it down slowly. And then when you bring it back up, I like that the handle, if you listen, snaps right back into place. So that's also good. I don't have to worry about checking it, making sure it's tight. We're gonna go up. Then I know I can let go and it's back into place. We talked about how the wheel hook works, but I want to show you now. So you got the blue button you can push. That's going to release it. So you can slide the hook up and down, out of the way. Same thing when you're loading a bike up. You bring it back up. I like that you can hear it ratchet as you push down. So you bring it right there on the tire, push down, nice and tight. That's how easy that is to use, and I really like that aspect. Now, when you're going to remove your bike, I would suggest coming back here to the strap first. It removes very easily. You just push down on, again, the blue button here, slide the strap out, it's released. So then you go back up to the front, hold the frame of your bike, push this button, lift this up, push it down and out of the way. You can easily just pick your bike up and set it aside. Another nice addition to the strap is that they include an extension. So that way it's ready to go for fat tire bikes right out of the box. I really like that because usually that's an add-on you have to buy separately on a lot of other bike racks, and they actually went through the effort of including it with there. That way you don't have to buy anything extra. Another thing with the cradle is you can manipulate it back and forth. It's going to help you accommodate different wheelbases up to 48 inches. And another thing looking on the inside is how it's set up. You have the groove here in the middle. It's going to be for your road bikes. Your mountain bike tires will be about here, and then the whole fat tire bike fits in there just fine too when you add that extra strap on there to get it down nice and tight. A way to securely store your wheel hook is just bring it down here, push the button, and then pull it right up against the cradle there on the bike. So that way it's not going anywhere right there when there's no bike loaded on the rack. We also have the wheel stop here, same grooves as the cradle down here. And one nice thing is when you are going to fold it up against your vehicle, you can just push it down and keep it in place right there. So that way it's nice and flat when you go to tilt this up. Looking down here at the bottom, underneath these trays, you got the included tool that would help you put this together. One thing is I'm going to loosen all these up, and I'm going to show you that you can slide this tray back and forth. That way you can adjust if maybe you put a bike up there that the handlebars make contact with the seat on one side, things just aren't lined up properly. You can loosen it up, slide this bar to one side, slide the other tray to the opposite side, just to get that more room and make your bikes work. Another nice included thing is this cable lock. It attaches to the bike rack, and you can route it through your bike or both bikes if you have both of them on there. That way you can lock it up and make sure nobody can mess with it when you're not around. With the cable lock, we'll go ahead and route it through before we attach it to the bike rack, and go through the frame and the tire, just in case the front tire disconnects. You got that secured too. That way nobody can mess with either one of them. Come down here at the bottom, you got the loop here. We'll run it through that way, and then we'll lock this portion to the bike rack. Slide it over right here. That's already installed on your bike rack. Put a lock. Now it's all locked up. So now this won't come off, and then nobody can take the bike off of the rack. Now let's talk about some measurements. So we measured from the center of the hitch pin in our hitch to the furthest out point on our bike rack, and that's going to be 37 inches. So it's going to add that to the back. Keep that in mind. If you don't have a bike rack before, this is your first one, just remember that when you're backing out of tight spots or even pulling your garage, you don't want to close the garage down on this. Just want to be careful. We measured from the center of the hitch pin hole to the closest point here. It's going to be about 6 inches, and this is just to help you make sure it's going to fit on your car. On these 1.25" class 2 hitches, sometimes they're up and under the vehicle quite a bit, and every bumper is a little bit different, so you just want to make sure you have that clearance to make this work. Another measurement to keep in mind is going to be from the center of the hitch pin hole to right here in this cradle. That's going to be 12 inches. That's just going to show you how much space. Again, it's a little bit different on other vehicles with your bumpers, but how much space there's going to be in between here. That way you don't have to worry about it making contact. Now we're going to go back to the handle mechanism here to show you that it actually folds up against the vehicle, because I know I mentioned earlier that I've used it for a few seasons in the summer and stuff, and I kind of just left it on my car all the time because it wasn't that bad, it wasn't in the way. So being able to fold it up and leave it like this takes up far less space. I don't have to worry about it sticking out as much, and I don't have to take it back out there and find somewhere to store it in the garage. I live in an apartment, I don't have a garage, so it was nice just to leave it on my car and not worry about it. Let's get a few more measurements with it folded up towards the vehicle. Again, we're going from the center of the anti-rattle hitch pin to the furthest out point, and that's going to be 17.5 inches here. And from this cradle to the center of the hitch pin is going to be about 7 inches. So you have that much space there, depending on your bumper too. You know, all that's going to change on your vehicle, but you got about that much space to work with this bike rack. Now we're going to look at how it goes into the hitch. Now this only fits class 2 1.25" hitches. It's got an anti-rattle hitch pin right here with a lock on this side. It's going to be key-to-like to the cable lock. So that's nice that you only need one key to unlock the rack here and the cable lock over here. So I really like that part. I can shake the whole thing back and forth. That anti-rattle bolt really takes all that shake and play out of the hitch area here. So you know that no vibration, no shaking, no noises here. So it's not going to transfer up to your bikes that it's carrying. Overall, I hope you can see why I like this bike rack so much. Like I said before, You know, it has a bunch of features that keeps it from being entry level, but not too many of the ones that I don't really want or care about. It's right there in that sweet spot. It being so easy to use, it's reliable, it's sturdy because of the steel and aluminum construction, but that also means it's light, so when I am taking it out of the vehicle or putting it back in here, it's lightweight. I don't have to lug a big one up there to try and get it and work it in there with my knee or anything like that. Easily can do it, just put it right into place, install it. It's got the anti-rattle bolt in there. It's even got the locks. It's got the fat tire bike strap on there. You don't have to buy anything extra with this, so whenever you buy this, it's kind of the complete package. Even if you don't have a fat tire bike now, maybe you look one down the road, you don't have to buy anything extra. It's all ready to go right out of the box. Well, I think that does it. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope this helped.